Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. Join our hosts as they take a closer look at the Blue Wave 2800 MAKAIRA. Representing the bay boat category, the Blue Wave 2800 MAKAIRA has an overall length of 27 feet 10 inches, a beam of 9 feet 2 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 600. Built to keep the family comfortable, she has a draft of 17 inches, a dead rise of 18 degrees, a dry weight of 3,650 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 135 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts.
George, Rick, I am so happy to be on this Blue Wave today. I've only known Blue Wave boats to be inshore bay boats. This boat's designed to go offshore, and I can't wait to get out there.
I'm with you, Lori. You know, we've seen the 2800 pure hybrid from Blue Wave, and this, the 2800 MAKAIRA, is a boat built really for offshore fishing specifically. The day's got a lot of kind of variables today. We got some weather to deal with. The fishing's been pretty good. We better get moving here. Rick, what do you think?
Buddy, I'm ready. You know, George, for years, they've had offshore boats and inshore boats, and they've been merging this whole time. Let me tell you, this boat can fish inshore, but I'll bet you it's going to be a star offshore.
No better time than the present. What do you say we get started?
Let's go fishing.
With a few simple modifications to a proven hull design, they made this boat a very usable boat in the offshore arena for blue water fishing. Now, what did they do to change it? Basically, the main thing they needed to change was eliminating the forward casting deck. Now, that forward casting deck is useful for sight fishing in not so rough water or in backwater, but when you get out in the ocean and it's flowing a little bit and it's 2 to 4 or 3 to 5 foot seas in a boat like that, you don't want to be balancing on a forward deck like that. So they opened it up. They left the forward seating in there, which is very useful for a lot of people that are going to ride around and do a lot of kind of family cruising and stuff. I mean, that forward seating comes in really handy, but getting that deck down level to where the gunnel height is up there at waist level, you're a lot more secure in the boat when it's rocking offshore.
I really like the way that the forward seating was set up on this boat. You had your backrest, you had cup holders, and the safety rail, which I love for when you're underway.
If we're riding out on a rough day, I've got to be sitting in the transom, and we've got the seats there for it. But the minute we get ready to put the baits out, those seats fold away and make for a platform on the transom for any type of fishing you're doing.
Now, the traditional business end of a center console for offshore is back in the cockpit. This boat was set up for real fishing offshore, trolling wise. You've got hardtop mounted outriggers. It's got 2 available live wells in the corner that are standard on every boat. Those are 28 gallons apiece in opposite corners. And a third optional live well, a 50-gallon tank, can be added to the helm station seating area. Now, if you don't want that live well, you can make that into a tackle station just as easily.
Center consoles are designed to fish 360 degrees around, and nobody loves to live bait fish more than I do. What a great idea it is to have a pitch well up in the bow where I can spot a cobia or a sailfish swimming on the surface and have a bait ready to fire at him, red hot and ready to get eaten.
So something that was unique that I thought was very genius was the rod lockers. They actually had it built into the gunnel, and I like that for the simple fact when you're traveling, you don't want all your rods left out. It was nice to actually have somewhere to store it that was easy to reach and have access to.
Now, underneath this casting deck in the rear, there's a wide center seat that folds out of sight. Under that, you've got access to your build systems, and it is really, really accessible. This is a large opening.
All right, so I have to admit, I had a favorite on this boat, and that was the sun lounge. For the simple fact is, yes, it was a sun lounge, but underneath me was a cooler, and talk about utilizing space. Nothing was left off this boat. They thought of everything.
Well, guys, we made it through another day here unscathed. We're back at the dock where the day began, and I got to bring you back to when we first walked up to this boat this morning, and I saw 2 300s on the back of it. All right, we're on this 2800. I'm thinking, I ran the 2800 with the 350 on it, and it seemed like the perfect boat. I was a little bit skeptical about how the boat was going to be with 2 motors, let alone 2 300s, and I've got to tell you, performance-wise, a home run. And this boat with 2 300s, how about plus 2 miles per gallon going 40 miles an hour? I mean, what more do you need?
You don't need anything else. I mean, you've got the security of having twin engines, but you've certainly got all the speed you need. But what impressed me was the fishability, George. We got a huge live well right here in our favorite spot. We got a backup live well over here, and they built this boat to be more of an offshore boat. You understand what I'm saying? We've got front seating, but the measure of a front seat to me is, can I gaff a fish over it?
Speaking of seats and fishing, this is a fishing boat. You proved that today. But they did not take away comfort for the family. We had a family on here today. Everyone was comfortable. You've got seating in the bow, seating in the stern. And my favorite part is that coffin box is the sun lounge. I just thought that was pure genius. But I gotta tell you, watching this boat go out the inlet today, beautiful. I could watch it all day.
It was, and it was sporty once we got offshore. But you know what? The boat tracked so well. And she had a great attitude. She held her position so well. It wasn't like you were getting blown around with a lighter boat. You understand what I'm saying? When they built this boat, when they took the original 28 hull, which is a great hull, and built it into an offshore boat, George, is just beefy. I gotta tell you, for me, the Blue Wave 2800 MAKAIRA is a home run.